Hi everyone, Slangel here from Slangel Designs, and today we're going to take a look at this cute little Santa ornament. This is, I would say, a beginner-friendly project. You don't need too many materials, and there's only a couple stitches that you need to know, okay? So again, I will put the link to the free PDF downloadable pattern on the website. If you have any questions after watching the video, please feel free to put them in the comment section. I will get back to you. And I will also put the links to any tutorials that I've done pertaining to the stitches and stuff as well. So for this, you're going to need a 4mm or size G crochet hook, worsted weight yarn in the tan, white, and red, a couple of safety eyes, which I just got off Amazon, some scissors and polyfill, and a tapestry needle. Now, a quick little note, a little tip. This stuff is getting harder to come by, the polyfill. If you're like me, and I was getting mine at Michael's, and sometimes they just don't have it, especially this time of year with everyone taking part in craft fairs and stuff. A nice, cheap, and somewhat easy alternative to hold you over is go to somewhere like Walmart, Giant Tiger, whatever, that sells pillows. They're like the $5 pillows here in Canada. Get one of those pillows, cut it open, same kind of polyfill inside. Quick and easy substitution. So just a little craft hint for you there. So just the stitches you're going to need to know is the chain, single crochet, half double crochet, single crochet 2 together, and half double crochet 2 together. So it's not a complicated pattern. The hat is done separate and put on afterwards, and you start, this is where you finish his little head. You start from the tan color up and finish with the beard. So I'm going to set him aside, and we're going to get started on that. So you start with your tan color. I'm just using like an Aran kind of color. So we're going to start with a magic ring. So I like to leave a longer tail, and I'm going to, that way you have enough to pull through, to tighten, and to weave in at the end. And depending if you're working in the round or not, it can act as a good stitch marker. So we're gonna put our yarn over our fingers like so, bring the working end up, cross it over, put our hook in through, grab that, and it is gonna be loose, don't panic, it'll all come together. And we're just gonna do a single crochet there. Now, not just anchors, that does not count as anything at all. That's just to hold your magic ring together. So with your working yarn, you're going to put 6 single crochets in the center of this ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And don't worry if it's a little flimsy. Magic rings always are at the beginning, and you're just going to pull your tail to close that ring up. Now you're going to notice we aren't going to be working in the round. We're joining and slip stitching at the end of every round. Okay, so it wants us to slip stitch to the first single crochet. So if you need to, count back to the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's in here, which can be a little tight, and we're just going to slip stitch to that. Okay. And again, see, sometimes your center kind of opens up. Just give it a little tug again. So now for round 2, we're going to chain 1, which again, that does not count as a stitch. We're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So we're going to go in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And again, I'm just going to tug that tight again put that to the back, and we're going to slip stitch to the start of the chain of the first single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to slip stitch to here, and that finishes round 2. So now for round 3, get some yarn here. Let me just move this in a little bit for you. That's a little better. For round 3, we're going to chain 1. Then it wants us to put 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So we're, again, remember your first one doesn't count. So 1, 2, and then we're going to single crochet in the next. And this is what we're going to be repeating around. 2 in the next stitch. 1, 2, followed by 1 in the next. So this is going to be growing the circle around. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. And you'll notice on the pattern it has the stitch counts at the end of every round. If you need to and you're still new to crocheting and you're not totally sure if you get interrupted or whatever, feel free to count them at the end of every row. So, because it's going to look like you've got a space here, but if you start counting back, we should have 18 right now, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wait a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We do. So, get that tail out of the way there. We're going to slip stitch to this first stitch, and that finishes round 3. So for round 4, we're going to chain 1. We're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch. 1, 2, and again, reminder that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Okay, so now it wants us to do single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. So the repeat around is 2 single crochets in the next stitch, then a single crochet in each of the next 2, 2 single crochets in one stitch, single crochet in the next 2, 2 in the next, again growing the circle around, single crochet in each of the next 2, 2 single crochets in the next, 1 single crochet in each of the next 2. Again, you see the pattern here. And we're coming around to the end of the round. And then you're going to slip stitch to that beginning single crochet. And again, if you're still new to crocheting, don't panic if you need to count your stitches at the end of every round, because that way at least you're going to know that you have your counts right, okay? So I think I will just out a little bit. All right, so for the next round, which is round 5, we're going to chain 1, and then it wants us to put 2 single crochets in the next, and then we're going to put a single crochet in each of the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and the repeat around is 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then single crochet in each of the next 3. 1, 2, 3, 2 in the next, 1, 2, again growing that circle to make it bigger, single crochet in each of the next 3, 2, 3, put 2 in the next one, 1 in each of the next 3, you're going to do another 2, and then 1, 2, 3, put 2 in the next, and you can see and then 1 in each of the next 3. This doesn't take too long to work up. So at the end of the round, we're going to slip stitch to our first single crochet. Cat hair is always free in the project. Okay, so that was round 5. So for round 6 to 9, what you're going to do is just single crochet in each of the stitches around. So you're going to chain 1, and remember that didn't count as a stitch. So single crochet in each one around. And you're going to do this for rounds 6 to 9. And remember, at the end of every round, you're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet, chain 1, and then keep going around, okay? So meet me back here when you finish round 9. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished my round 9, but I haven't slip stitched to the top yet. What I'm going to do right now actually is just kind of weave in my tail from my magic ring, just to make sure it's good and secure, because I'm going to trim it off just because it keeps kind of getting in our way a little bit. So, and then you can leave a little bit because it's going to be inside the stitching. So we'll do that just to have it out of the way. Now, because at row 10, it wants us to change to the white yarn. So I have my white yarn here. Just find my end. So what I'm going to do, so that I have a nice even change in color, I'm going to put my hook in, but instead of yarning over and pulling through my tan color, I'm going to leave a bit of a tail, and I'm going to wrap it around my hook, pull the white through, excuse me, and through again. And I'm going to just make my tail a reasonable length here. And I'm going to cut the tan yarn and set that aside because we are done with that for now. But what I like to do, just to make it good and secure, is these 2 tails, the white and the tan, I'm going to knot them together. Don't pull too tight, just tight enough that they're good and secure. And you can literally just kind of trim them off because we're going to tuck them inside the project. So for rows 10 to 13, we're going to chain 1 and single crochet around again for round 10, 11, 12, and 13. So if you want to meet me here at the end of round 13, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Be right back. Okay, so I just finished row 13, and this is what you're going to look like. It's just kind of like a little cup with your tan color, and then where we've turned into our white for our beard. Now, what it is saying to do next is I'm going to take our tapestry needle, because it wants us to sew a nose between rows 9 and 10 and put your your safety eyes on. So I'm just going to put some red yarn on my tapestry needle. I have my safety eyes here. So this is where we keep doing our joining. So what I like to do is put the face in that on the opposite side, just so there's never any chance of the seam showing. So when you're looking here, it says to attach your 6mm safety eyes between rows 7 and 8 about 3 stitches apart. So if we know round 10 was where we changed the white, so 10, 9, 8, between 7 and 8. So this was 10, so this is 9, 8, so between round 7 and 8. And if you need to, you can count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and about 3 stitches apart, it says. So 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do it like that. All right. Do I want it a little closer? Yeah, that's better. So once you have your eyes positioned the way you want them, you're going to put the backs on. And you want to get them snapped down good and tight. That's what keeps them from coming out. There we go. So they're on good and tight. There's no coming off. If you have little kids and you would prefer to just use some black yarn to make the eyes, go right ahead. Safer the better. If you're not comfortable with the safety eyes, okay? Or if you're making it for a friend who may have some littles and you would rather not have the safety eyes and just use yarn, go right ahead, it'll work just the same. So then it wants us to stitch a nose on between rows 9 and 10. So that's 10 was our first white one. So it wants you to go horizontal, okay? So I'm just going to go in through like this. And I'm leaving a bit of a tail, and don't worry about the stuff inside because it's all going to get stuffed with the stuffing, and you're going to have this all sealed shut. You're not going to see it. So I'm just going to tie a knot to secure my yarn. And then it wants you to do this back and forth 4 to 5 times. Okay. Oops. So that's 3, 4, and I'm just gonna pull it back in through the back. Straighten it out a little bit, and then I'm gonna tie it back. Just knot it again inside to secure it. And just trim my ends a little bit. So there's his face. So now we're going to put our hook back in. It wants us to stuff it with polyfill in the next step. Now I find that opening still fairly big. So what I like to do is do the next couple of rounds and then start stuffing it, because you're not going to get, it's going to keep popping out on you. So for round 14, we're going to chain 1, and this is going to start our decrease round, okay? We're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together. So yarn, put your hook in, yarn over, pull up your loop, go to the next stitch, put your hook in, yarn over, pull up your loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. And this is what we're going to repeat around. We're going to single crochet in the next 3, and then we're going to single crochet decrease, which is a yarn, put your hook in, yarn over, pull through into the next stitch, hook in, yarn over, pull through, so that you have your 3 loops on your hook, and yarn over, pull through all 3. And we're repeating this around 2, 3, single crochet decrease, single crochet 3, and then we're going to do a decrease, 1, 2, 3, decrease, 1, 2, 3, and then our last decrease to finish off the round, and then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet. So that's row 14. So now, again, opening's still pretty big. I'm still comfortable leaving it open or not stuffing it just yet, because I find you can do it according to the instructions, but I find it ends up getting in the way of my stitching, and I still have tons of an opening to get my chubby little fingers in there. So let's do row 15. So we're going to chain 1, we're going to single crochet in 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then we're going to do a decrease, and that is the repeat around. Single crochet in 2, decrease, and when I say decrease, that's single crocheting 2 together. Single crochet 2, decrease, and then 2, decrease, 1, 2, decrease, 1, 2, decrease, and then slip stitch to the first single crochet. Now our hole's getting a little smaller and it's closed over enough that the stuffing should be held in fairly well. So now I'm going to just pull my yarn out a little bit so I don't lose it. Take my stuffing and start filling his little head. And you want it firm, but don't overstuff it so that your stitches start to pull apart. So I advise just little bits at a time, and then the squeeze test. See if he's a little firm, and then take a look. Are my stitches coming apart so that you can see the stuffing inside? No, that's pretty good. So now we're going to do the next decrease row. And as we go along, we may end up putting a little bit more in here just to firm it up. It's just if I overfill it, see how it starts to pop out a little bit, and then it can kind of get in the way and get caught in your hook. So you don't want that. It makes it a little harder. So we're going to chain 1. We're going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet the 2 together, and that's the repeat around. Single crochet, 2 together, single crochet, 2 together. And I can see I already have some polyfill coming up with my stitches, so this is why I like to try to avoid stuffing it too early. Alright, and we're going to slip stitch to the beginning stitch. And then it does say in the pattern here again to stuff with polyfill, because if he's not quite firm enough, but I think mine's okay, you would add a little bit more. Like if I just take a little puff, little blob here, and just, you can kind of tuck it in if you need to, okay? Because now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet 2 together all the way around. That is the repeat, just 2 together over and over again. We're going to close up the bottom of them here. So you can see the head part, pretty straightforward. Basic stitches. Alright, that's our last 2 together. Then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet part. Now leave yourself a tail and you're going to fasten off. Now yarn over and pull through, but we're going to take our darning needle, our tapestry needle, because this is the part on him that's at the bottom that you're going to see. So it says to fasten off and sew up the hole. You can still see you have a bit of a hole left here. So this is how I like to do it. My yarn is attached here. I go across, but then I come back. Then I come over to this side, and then crisscross to the side, across from that, and back. I just weave in and out, back and forth. And then see, it closes them up nice and neatly. And then I come back towards the middle, and I just secure my yarn a couple of times with a knot, and then I tuck it in, bring my needle through, carefully trim your yarn, and there you go. There's the bottom. You'd never know. So I'm going to set my needle aside here. I had some extra stuffing I didn't need. I'll put that in the bag so the cats don't get it. So that's the head part. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the hat. So for the hat, You're going to start, it's done a little different. For the hat, instead of starting at the top and working down, we're starting at the bottom and working up. Weird, but it works. So we're going to start with our white yarn. You're going to attach your yarn to your hook with a slip knot, however you like to attach your yarn. Leave a bit of a tail for weaving in, and we're going to chain 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now, here's where you need to be careful, because you've got your starting chain of 30. It wants you to join to the first chain. So when you flip it over and you go to join it, you want to make sure that you're not twisting your chain, okay? So into your first chain, slip stitch that together, okay? And now double check when you kind of hold it and go around that you're not twisted anywhere. So we're looking good there. So for round 2, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to half double crochet in each stitch around, okay? And again, that chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, so we're going to yarn over, put our hook in, yarn over and pull through. So we have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now, as you're going, if you want, I don't like to tuck the tail in on this, and I'll explain to you why. See how where you join your chain together with the slip stitch, there's sometimes a little gap. I like to leave this so that I can kind of use my needle and kind of straighten it out at the end. If you want, you can tuck it in behind your half double crochets as you're going, but I just like to leave it so that I can kind of tidy up the join at the end. So we're going to half double crochet in each stitch around, and then when we get to the end, we're going to slip stitch. So if you want to put half double crochets in each of your stitches around and meet me back here at the end, I'll meet up with you there and we'll continue on with that. Be right back. Okay, so we just finished round 2. I haven't slip stitched yet because it asks us to change to the red yarn. So I'm going to put my hook into the first top of the half double crochet. I'm going to pull through though to slip stitch with the red yarn to make that nice join. Now I can cut my white, and the 2 tails, just like before when we were joining the yarn, I'm going to knot them so they're nice and secure. And I'm going to leave them long for now, but just tuck them down in the bottom so that I can tidy them up after, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. So we're going to chain 1. So for round 3, we're going to put a half double crochet in each stitch around, and this is with the red. So I'd like to thank everybody who's supported the channel over the last little bit while we're working this half double crochet row. The support's been really appreciated. I have always loved crocheting, and I've loved helping people learn how to crochet over the years. I've had friends who would ask me and stuff like that, and I find it very satisfying, just kind of giving back and helping others who are looking to learn, or those who are at different skill levels learn new things maybe, or find little tips and tricks that might help you out to make it a little easier. Some of these fiber arts are a dying breed. People of newer generations and stuff, not that I'm massively old, but I'm older. Like I have an 18-year-old son and his friends and stuff like that. That generation, they don't seem to have the interest in stuff like this, like people of my generation and other generations did in the past. So it's kind of a dying art. So if there's people out there that are wanting to learn, I am all for it, because stuff like this needs to keep on going and keep being passed down to other people in other generations, so it doesn't get lost. All right, so I do greatly appreciate the support and people who have subscribed to the channel and given a like and the such. It does mean the world. So we're at the end of round 3. We're going to slip stitch to the top of the first half double crochet. All right, so for round 4, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to half double crochet in the next 8. So this is, we're starting the decreases. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, to half double crochet 2 together, you're going to yarn over, put your hook through and pull up your loop like you're going to do a half double crochet, but then you're going to yarn over, put your hook in the next stitch, yarn over and pull up your loop. So you have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5. That's your half double crochet 2 together. So we're going to repeat that around. We're going to do 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're going to half double crochet 2 together, yarn over, hook goes in through the stitch, yarn over, pull up your loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, hook goes into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up your loop, 5 loops, yarn over through all 5. All right, so 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So then we're going to half double crochet the last 2 together, and then we're going to slip stitch. That's what I thought, I had an extra count. So you know what? This just goes to show everybody makes mistakes. We're going to just put an extra half double crochet in there and then slip stitch to the beginning, and we're going to fix this in the next round. You fake it till you make it. All right, so now we're going to chain 1. We're going to half double crochet in the next 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then do our 2 together. And then we're going to do 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, half double crochet 2 together, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, half double crochet 2 together. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to put my extra half double crochet in here and then slip stitch. I'm going to fix that as it gets smaller, so it's not as noticeable of a pucker kind of thing. So now we're going to chain 1. We're going to half double crochet in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do our 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 2 together. So depending on what you were making, if the stitch count really was absolutely beyond necessary, I would have had to pull that back and find where I made the mistake and rectify it. But for this, you can kind of work with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 together, and my extra rogue stitch, and slip stitched to the top of the first one. All right, so now we're gonna chain 1, half double crochet in the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our 2 together, and then our extras. All right, chain 1, and then we're going to do 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's getting smaller. 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 together, and our rogue extra, slip stitch at the beginning, chain 1. So then we're going to do 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 together. So I think what I'm going to do is just leave the extra till the very last and see what it looks like. One, 2. Reason being, when we put the pom-pom on, the pom-pom might cover up my error, and you'll not even notice it. All right, slip stitch to the first, chain 1, then we're going to half double crochet in the next 2. 1, 2, 2 together, 1, 2, two together. Whoop. It's getting to be tight quarters here. All right, slip stitch to the beginning one. Then we're going to do a half double crochet in the first one, two together. Half double crochet in the next, two together. Half double crochet in the next, two together. And then our extra, which I don't think is making a massive difference as we're going actually. And then we're going to slip stitch to the top of the first one, chain one, and we're going to half double crochet two together all the way around. And one more. And this is where I'm getting rid of my extra stitch right there, because I am starting to put the second half double crochet part of that two together was the first one. So I'm going to cut a tail and fasten off. And then I'm going to take my needle and just bring this down in through, because this isn't, that yarn there is not going to be used for anything, but we're just going to leave that hanging for now. Now, with our white yarn, because you want to put your pom-pom on before you attach the hat, I'm going to take, that's not white, I was looking for a longer piece of spare white yarn. I'm going to take my needle and have that ready to go, some white yarn, and then I'm just going to take my, because we don't want a very big pom-pom, I'm just going to take my two fingers and just wrap yarn around a number of times. As thick and bushy as you want. I'm going to trim it. Then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pull it through this side of my finger. I'm going to leave a tail. Then I'm coming through this side and back around again, like that. And then I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to carefully slide it off my fingers as I'm tightening the knot in the middle. And I'm going to secure that again. And I'm leaving my needle attached, and I'm just going to come in as best I can and cut my loops. My scissors aren't the best. All right, so the longer pieces of the yarn I secured the pom-pom with. You'll notice I have a few extra pieces sticking out. I always kind of trim my pom-poms before I attach them. Give them a little bit of a haircut, because you don't always cut things evenly when you're cutting the loops. So just kind of tidy it up a little bit. Just so it'll sit nice. Don't go crazy. But you don't want any pieces that are way longer than the others. You want to kind of make it uniform. That looks pretty good. Get rid of all your fluff. Oops. So then, with my, I'm going to push. I'm taking one piece of the tail and pulling it through. Then I'll put my other tail from where I tied the yarn on, and I'm not going to go through in the same hole. I'm going to go over just a little bit so that they're not going to pull right through. Then I'm just going to kind of turn this inside out a little bit. These two pieces of the tail from the pom-pom, I'm going to tie it tight so that it's, and then just trim those ends. And as you're looking at it, like, okay, I can see I've got a longer little piece right there. I can go ahead and trim that off, and right there. But now we've got that on there. Now, before we go and attach it to the head, there's some pieces I need to tidy up a little bit, because we're not stuffing this, but we are going to secure it. So there's some pieces here. We're going to take our needle and find, okay, these two here, just tuck them up in because they're attached up here, okay? But this one, which was the start of our chain when we first started our hat, I'm going to thread. And remember I said to you, sometimes you can kind of see where it separates. I'm just going to weave this in. So it makes a nice even beginning chain. And then I'm going to tuck it back in through. Tuck all that in there. Now we're going to get a long length of red and put that on our hook, on our needle. And we're going to take our hat, make sure all that extra yarn's tucked up there, and we're going to get his head in here and position it the way you like it. Let me just move this out some. We're going to position the hat the way you like it on his head. We're going to take our red yarn, start at the back, leave a long tail because we're going to eventually tie that and then put it in so that you don't see it. Now very carefully, you're wanting to make sure you're putting it in through his head. And when you pull this through, don't pull it super tight, because that way the stitch will blend in with your existing stitches, okay? And we're going to do this around. To attach the hat to his head so that you're not at risk of it coming off. But again, see how I'm pulling that? It's doing a stitch, but it's blending in with the other stitches, so you're not noticing it. And we're going to just keep doing this around until we get to the back of his head. I always watch when I'm pulling my stitch in so that I don't make it pucker. All right, so now we're back up to where we were. I'm going to knot this. Again, don't pull tight enough that you're getting it to the base of the hat, but not tight enough that you're making it pucker, okay? So now I still have a long length. I'm going to put it through here, and I'm going to work it. You may have to make a couple of stitches. And if you want to use a ribbon, you could easily just fasten off the red and hide it. But I am taking this, I'm making my loop, and I'm going to tie it at the bottom here. I'm going to knot it at the bottom. Preferably not around the pom-pom. And then I'm going to just tuck this down in through the hat so that you don't see it. Then I'm going to trim that off. Then we're going to come back to this tail that we left from the start, and we're going to hide it inside the head as well. So just tuck it in, bring it back up through anywhere, and then just safely trim it off. And there you have your Santa ornament. It's cute, and it's not too complicated to do. So if you've watched this video and you've enjoyed it, please don't forget to give a like. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. And if you have any requests for any other ornaments that might possibly be able to be done, I wouldn't mind doing those for you as well. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it and it helps the channel. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and happy crocheting.